Hey, what's up guys? My name is Josh McKenna, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at how to connect Firebase to your Android application inside of Android Studio. So let's get right into it. Here on the right, we got an application that will insert data into the database, either a Firestore database or a real-time database, up to you. The tutorial is the same for either one of them. So, we're at firebase.google.com. This is where Firebase can be found. So Firebase, just go click sign in and then go to console. Here we have a number of apps. If you already have one, if you don't, create a new one. Name your project. In this project, we're going to just call it My Firebase Application. Continue. Continue, and now it is creating the project. So, once your application is done, you click continue. Okay, so once you got your Firebase project created, you then want to log into Android Studio with the same account that you created the Firebase project with. With that, you then go down to Tools, down here, and then you go to Firebase, and then you select either Cloud, Firestore, or Real-Time Database. Okay, the way that you connect to both these databases, which is the Real-Time and Cloud Firestore database, they both work exactly the same way for adding data. So, I'm going to go with the Real-Time database just because in the example application, that one used Real-Time database. Okay, so after picking out your choice for a database, we're going to want to go back to your Firebase project, go to Build, and then choose either Firestore and Database or Real-Time Database, whatever you chose earlier. And then I'm going to go with Real-Time and I'm going to create the database. And then that, and then you want to do in testing mode, because if you won't be able to read or write if those rules are changed. Enable. Okay, so once your database is created, we go back here and go back to the screen. So choose real-time database if that's the one you chose, or go for the Cloud Firestore if that's the one you chose. But seeing that I went with real-time database, I'm going to stick to it. So once you're on this screen here, you just go and you click connect to Firebase. Then you select the application that you're going to use. I'm going to use the one that we created earlier and click connect. Okay, and then finally you add the real-time database SDK to your application. And it'd be adding these into the Gradle file. And you would have to add this if you're doing this manually. Now that we got Firebase connected to your applications and that the database is also created, now we're going to insert data to test if it is working. And we're going to insert it as if we're collecting student data. And so first things first, we're going to have their name. We're going to have their email probably. So we're going to have that. And then probably a student ID. TXT name. TXT email. TXT student ID. Now that we got to collect the information that we're going to collect from the students, we are going to add a button. Let's call it BNT submit. The text is. So let's go find the text and say submit. So now we got a little form to submit information. Okay, now that we got the form created, we're going to move on to adding functions to the form to make it submit to the database. Okay, first of all, let's just add the event click to the submit button. So once we got the click event registered to the button, we're going to create a private variable that's an object of database reference called student DB reference. And then finally, we're going to do student DB reference, and then we're going to get a firebase.get instance, and then .get reference, and then .get child, and this would then this is where you would put your student, this would be considered as could be like an object table in a MySQL database. Okay, so now that we got the database connected to your application, being referred to in your application, now it's time to submit data to the database when the button is clicked. In order to upload data to the database, we got to create a class. This class would be students, and the students' variables and stuff will be uploaded to the database through passing the student object to a method that will then upload it to the database. So I'm just creating the student now, and I added a folder. Hold up there for a moment, guys. The class object's name, student, its S is a lowercase. Make sure you put that in uppercase. Let's begin. Let's add student name, private, string, email, string, student, ID. And finally, let's create getters and setters for it. So we got the form, and now we take the data from the form, create a student class object, and then once we get the student, we then upload it through a Firebase SDK built-in method that will then send it to the database. Now, since we got all that done, we're going to take the values from the form and create a student object. Okay, now that we got the information collected, now we can create a student object. Okay, let's add the information to the student object. Okay, so next we're going to add the toast message that will display saying student added successfully. Okay, so the final step is adding the student to the database. First things first, we got to grab this here, go here, student dot that, and then push dot set value student, and now we're all done. So let's go and test this application. So the app finally loaded up on my phone here, and we're going to give it a go. So let's give it a go. Let's put Joshua. And then let's go. I don't know why that's in French. Gmail.com. And then successfully added. Let's see if it was added. And looks like it's been added. Yes, there we go. Well, that's all, folks. If you did enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing and liking. It would help me out dearly because I took a long time to make this tutorial. And if you want to know how to read from the database, just let me know. I'll make a part 2. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comment sections. So, I'll see you guys all later. Peace.